Hey sis, I am your host, Tari Kaya Allen Butler, and welcome to the Mom Keys to Mental Peace podcast, where we empower millennial mothers to cultivate a deeper connection with God, nurture their mental well-being, and prioritize family care without sacrificing your own identity. Get ready to unlock the secrets to mental peace and spiritual fulfillment. Whether you're striving for personal growth, professional success, or a more fulfilling family life, our podcast offers valuable insights to help you level up your lifestyle God's way. Ready to level up? Let's do it. All right, so hey everybody, welcome to another podcast episode. To our OGs and returning listeners, what's up, girl? If you are new here, hey sis, welcome to the family. So happy to have you here. So y'all, at the release of this episode, it will be my birthday. So I'm so excited. Happy birthday to me. I'm big on birthdays. I'm big on celebrating yourself on birthdays. So I just thank you all for your support. One birthday wish that I have is that you will go and leave a review on this podcast. Go and rate this podcast. Share it out with a family or a friend that could use it or that it would be helpful to. That will be one of the best gifts that I could receive on my birthday. And thank you in advance. So speaking of reviews, we have a shout out for today from Remy Ray, who left a review for the podcast. And she says, so many great nuggets of wisdom. I love Tari's perspective on mothering. It's clear she speaks from experience and a sincere desire to see mothers and families thrive. Great podcast. Thank you so much, Remy. I'm so glad that is the energy that you're getting from this podcast. I for sure have a sincere desire for mothers and for families to thrive, to represent God here on the earth, because God loves families. God cares about families. It's something that he wants us to do well, right? And something that he uses to, as an example to his people, to the earth, to the world, of how he loves us and cares for his people. So thank you again. If you would like to hear your review shouted out on the podcast, be sure to get that in before the next episode. All right, so let's hop into today's episode, which is called Building a Supportive Community, Connecting with Other Millennial Mothers, okay? So in some of my past episodes, I've shared how God gives me an anchor word every year. And this has been something that God has given me started in the year 2020. So in 2021 specifically, as we go into today's topic, the word that he gave me was collaboration. And this word means to work jointly with others or together, especially in an intellectual endeavor, to team up or to unite. All right. So I have some sort of community or partnership that I'm a part of for every area in my life. And I do want to point this out, that even though God gave me that word in 2021, that didn't mean that, I should only do it then and then no longer do it anymore. So ever since 2021, collaboration, unity, and partnership has been a part of everything that I do in my life. And I have seen the fruit and the results of doing things with other people and collaborating with other people. So first off, in marriage, I am in a marriage small group that meets virtually each quarter. They changed the name of the group each quarter, but it started off as Married Mamas. And then the next group, she titled it, Why Did I Get Married? And this is a group that I found from an online church called Union. They are based out in Baltimore, Maryland, but they have connect groups each semester. And I decided to join when it was Married Mamas. And y'all, this group has helped me so much in my marriage, because I don't have an example of what a healthy marriage is. I have no clue what that looks like. And same for my husband. He has not had an example of a healthy marriage, let alone a godly marriage. So me being connected with this group, hearing their stories, hearing their insights, this being a safe space that I'm able to ask my questions and get some wisdom and insight on how to do marriage. I have seen the fruit as a result of me being connected in this group in my own marriage. Okay. Our communication has improved. Our intimacy has improved. Me being able to listen and hear him without being offended or getting defensive, when he's able to voice. And I will say I like the Why Did I Get Married, because that was more of a co-ed group session where the husbands were invited into the group as well. And it just really was helpful for me to hear the husband's perspective on certain situations and how they felt about it and their outlook on certain things that I could bring back to my husband and discuss with him, or say, hey, babe, I heard, this one guy suggest this. What are your thoughts on that? Or do you agree with this? And that's to be able to have that dialogue. So I am so grateful for this Married Mamas group. I'm so grateful for Union Church and for their groups that they have each semester, and that I'm able to participate, even though I'm here in North Carolina. Like, thank God for internet. All internet ain't bad. That I'm able to connect virtually, and we have an ongoing group chat where we're constantly, having reflective questions, prayer for marriage, all the things. So I am so excited and grateful that I have been able to collaborate with other women, other moms, other wives in this area. Another area that I have connected with community or partnership is in business and faith. So I am a part of a group called the Society, as well as the Doers community. So in both of these groups, they have different focuses. So the Society is more business and faith, where we talk about Bible study, business trainings. There are certain prayer calls that we do each morning, and there are quarterly challenges with a focus on business and faith. So I really like this group because when I first started off in business, I really had a hard time of connecting my relationship with God and business together. I had been a part of some other communities that gave some good business information, but I could tell that the energy was very money focused, money based. And when I wasn't seeing the financial results that they were saying I should see as a result of implementing their rules, I got kind of discouraged. Well, is there something I'm not doing right? Am I missing the mark? I just don't understand. But God revealed to me that the base of those community groups was very money driven, or that they worship money. And I realized that's not the space for me. I'm new in business. I'm trying to start off, and figure my way out. And I don't need to be in a space that is discouraging me and making me not want to show up as a result of not meeting the mark or meeting the goals. There were other groups that I was a part of that seemed very self-focused. So it's all about you. It's all about how you show up and the benefits of you, and not really service to other people. But I feel like in the Society, I found that balance, right? Not only do we talk about business, strategy, and marketing and things, but sis, she gets us right when it comes to our relationship with God. So our Bible studies and making the connections of this marketing plan or this business strategy and how it glorifies God. The base of this group is that God is my CEO. So allowing him to lead and guide the business in a way that glorifies him and is a service to his kingdom. So once I found the two, the business and faith, connected together, I was like, oh yeah, this is where I need to be. This is where I'm planted. I've been with this group for 2 years now. I'm also in a program called the SALT program, where they are teaching me specifically how to do leadership in business. So I'm being discipled. I'm being taught about the word. We have certain assignments and challenges that we have to do, and that one-on-one help. And I just feel like these ladies are everything that I needed, and specifically intentional about helping me when it comes to leadership and business and the podcast and all these other ideas that I have with the Mom Keys to Mental Peace platform. And I'm so grateful that God has connected me to these ladies. And then the doers community, the host of that is Kyla Jackson. I found her on YouTube, and she has a podcast called Organize My Thoughts. So this is a great community if you struggle with completing tasks, completing goals, if you struggle with organization, if you struggle with imposter syndrome, and just staying committed to goals. The doers community is a great accountability group where right now we're doing a 21-day challenge where we have to pray twice a day, read our Bible every day, move our body for at least 30 minutes every day, and we have to check in, and no junk food as well. Now that has been a struggle for me, but I realized that I have more of an awareness about what I'm eating as a result of being in this group, because I know that there's some accountability that I have to check in for. So I will have the links to both of those groups in the show notes if you're interested in joining. The Doers Club is free, but the Society is $19.99 a month. But I will say, with all the resources and the support that we receive in this group, it is highly, highly worth it. Like, it's for sure not a waste of money. As a result of being in the Society, I am partnered with somebody for prayer. So I'm connected to, she's a millennial mom as well. She has 2 children. And I will say, y'all, this is something that I never knew that I needed, a prayer partner. I feel like I do pretty good with praying by myself. I hop onto the prayer calls, in the morning with the groups that I'm in. I do my prayer journaling. But it's something about praying with somebody or having an accountability partner in prayer that I feel like my prayer life has ignited to a whole nother level. Like, we have been on the phone for like an hour and a half, just going back and forth, sharing with each other, talking to each other. And it's crazy how similar our lives are. There are certain things that she's dealing with that I've come out on the other side of. I believe I'm 4 years older than her, 4 or 5 years older than her. So there was a season of things that I had going on in my relationship that she's currently in. And it's like, God, look at you. Look at you using me as somebody to be able to reach back and share what helped me and to pour into her and speak life into her, and vice versa. There are things that I'm dealing with or going through that she has been able to speak into or give me a different perspective about. And we keep track of each other's prayer points. We check in with each other. Hey, how can I pray for you this week? And again, like I said, this is something I never knew I needed because I just pray on my own or hop on the prayer calls in the morning. So I highly suggest that you connect with somebody that you know that is a believer, that is trying to ignite their prayer life, and y'all do it together. Highly, highly suggest it. In regards to the podcast, I'm in a podcast community. And if you follow me on Facebook, child, I shared my testimony on that about how there is a fee to be a part of this, but I did not have the finances at this point. And the leader of this podcast group is one of the leaders in the Society. And she invited me into the podcast group for free. For free. And my mind is still blown at that level of favor, at her level of obedience to God, and how, because I felt like I was supposed to work with her in the podcast industry, but I was like, I just simply don't have it right now. It's all good. I pray for the women who are a part of it, that their podcasts grow. Like, my heart posture was in a content state. And as a result of that, sis reached back. It was like, girl, come on. It's okay. We got you. And as a result of being in this podcast community, I just feel so supported. I feel like I'm able to support other women in their podcast journey. We're all in different places. Some women don't have a podcast and they're trying to start. Some women do have a podcast like me and are just trying to figure out ways to make it better, how to reach more people, things like that. And I feel like this community of like-minded podcasters is just really helping me to go to that next level in this podcast journey. We're able to receive feedback and advice from one another. We're helping with each other launching their podcast and managing their podcast platform in a way that serves God's kingdom and glorifies God. So again, this is another community that is faith-based. So yeah, we're learning about the marketing strategies and all the things of how to do a podcast, but it's done in a way that, how does this glorify God's kingdom, right? We're not just hopping on the mic saying anything to be saying anything. This group really is holding each other accountable about, okay, what is the setup of your podcast? What is the message of your podcast? What is your target audience of this podcast? And how will it glorify God in the end? So I'm so grateful to be a part of this group. I feel like it is divine. And I'm so grateful to God for allowing me to experience this opportunity. I had wrote a book in 2020 called Mom Keys to Mental Peace, which I've shared is the spinoff of the podcast, right? So I connected with a writing coach to write my book. Now, I've always been into I've always been into writing. I've always considered myself a writer. But in regards to self-publishing a whole book, I had no clue of how to do that by myself. So I connected with a writing coach to come out with the book, Mom Keys to Mental Peace. But even in the writing session of this book process, we were in a group session. So it was done virtually, and there were 4 to 5 other women who were writing a book as well. But being able to write and cultivate this book together in a group really helped motivate me to get it done. Because I saw these other women, I heard their ideas, I saw their motivation, and it encouraged and pushed me to get my book out. It was like positive peer pressure, right? Like, well, I don't want to be the only one that didn't finish, or let me, ask my questions in this safe space. Let me bounce these ideas off of these women to see their thoughts. Because there's a lot of times when it comes to putting something out, like it makes sense in your head, but it may not be received that way. So I like being a part of this group with the writing coach and other members to bounce ideas off and hear their feedback and then apply it to the whole writing process. Like, there's no way that that book would have came out and pushed me into what I'm doing now if I was not a part of a community and had the partnership and guidance of a coach. So I'm very, very grateful for that as well. I'm a part of a financial group on Instagram. Now, she has a community, but I will say I just follow her on Instagram, and she gives so much value. I've mentioned her before on this podcast that I can apply to my real life. Now, the name of her page is BITCH, I'm budgeting, so excuse the language, but sis really speaks to the millennial woman as far as finances, budgeting, and things of that nature. So I'm not specifically in her community, but I signed up for the monthly challenges in her group. And she gives out like one challenge per month that is focused on one specific area. So like one challenge for 1 month was a savings challenge. This current month is a side hustle challenge. So what can you do to earn an extra $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000, like whatever your goal is. So I love being a part of that. She informs and equips us on how to manage money, save money, budget, and invest money. So coaches really help to bridge that gap between a desire and an execution. And this is a quote from Kyla Jackson that I mentioned from Organize My Thoughts. And that is so true. A lot of times we can just sit on an idea or see a desire in another season, but we just simply don't know how to get there. This is where coaching, partnership, or community comes into play to help you get to that other side of what is in your head, sis. And last but not least, I'm a part of Fitness Accountability Partners. So I do this with my big sis who currently lives in New York. And we check in weekly and daily with each other for our workouts. So we have this agreement that every time we finish a workout, we have to send a sweaty picture to each other. And I have been doing this. It's been a month now, and I've been consistent. My goal was 5 workouts a week. And ever since I partnered with her and we agreed to do this together, I have showed up for 5 workouts each week as a result of this. And that's something as simple as sending my picture when I'm done with my workout. Whenever she sends me her picture, I'm like, okay, sis showed up today, so now I'm encouraged to show up. Again, that positive peer pressure. So that really, really helps. Okay. I said that was last but not least. I think I mentioned the SALT program, how I'm getting leadership training from that. But I also just completed a group called Let's Do It Together, where we were a community of people learning about leadership, certain roles that we can play in serving the community, certain resources that we have access to for our business. And I just graduated from that last week. So there's a lot of things that I am a part of. So if you look at me and you feel like, dang, Tari doing all this, or she's showing up in all these areas, it's definitely not me doing it by myself. And it's not simply from self-motivation. I have a team of people around me, again, in all of the specific areas that I want to be successful in. And as a result of me connecting with these people, I am seeing the results on the other end of it. So sis, it is important to collaborate and to connect with other people, other like-minded people. So I'm a firm believer that you are most likely to be successful when you collaborate with a group or partner to complete a task or reach a goal. I just shared my testimony. But Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verses 12 kind of confirms everything that I just shared. And it says, 2 people are better than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other person can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, 2 people lying close together can keep each other warm. But how can one be warm alone? A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but 2 can stand back to back and conquer. 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. Again, that was Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 12. So now we're going to get into, I believe I have, 3 ways that you can build a supportive community and connect with other millennial mothers. All right. So the first way is to be around like-minded women. What does it mean to be like-minded? It means of the same mind or habit of thought. All right. The mindset of the people that you are around matters because you are more likely to behave the way that they do. So, Proverbs chapter 13 and 20 in the Message version brings this home for us. Become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and watch your life fall to pieces. So, this is where you have to start to examine your circle of people. I know there's that quote, bird of a feather flock together. There is some truth in these statements. So as I think back on my old habits of thoughts, right? My negative habits of thoughts, my unhealthy habits of thoughts. When I looked around my circle, those were the people that I hung around with. When I reflect on our conversations, they were about gossiping. They were making jokes about where we were in our finances. We were constantly talking about how dudes ain't SHIT and men ain't nothing and oh, I got to be independent and figure this out on my own. Like, those were the conversations that I were having because we were like-minded. So it can go both ways. You can be around somebody that's like-minded in a negative way, and you can be around people that are like-minded in a positive way. And Proverbs shares this. Become wise by walking with the wise. So if you want a wise mindset, if you want wisdom in a specific area, you have got to get around people that are thinking that way, that are thinking with wisdom, that are showing wisdom. But if you hang out with fools, you can watch your life fall to pieces. So take an inventory of your life, sis. Do you see yourself walking in wisdom and moving towards the goals and desires that you have in your life in a positive way? Or do you feel like your life is falling apart and you are trauma bonding with other like-minded women whose lives are falling apart too? Okay, this is that hard work that we have to do in our lives. Evaluate your circle and compare it to the condition of your life. There should be positive peer pressure and healthy competition with the group of people that you are around. So like I shared in the different groups that I'm in, there's positive peer pressure because if I see my sisters succeeded in this area, okay, I'm motivated to show up so I can succeed in that area too. A good example of this is a group have a group savings challenge with your friends. Have a group Bible study challenge with your friends, or a prayer challenge, or a group married challenge, right? So challenge each other to show up in a way that is wise, in a way that is edifying, and in a way that is helping y'all. If you're around each other and y'all are constantly complaining or tearing other people down or just bonding off of trauma, then your life is going to fall apart and it's going to show up that way. All right, the second tip for how to build a supportive community is don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. So it's easy to stay comfortable with being in your own little space, your own little bubble, and avoid interacting with other people. But that is not always the most healthy choice, okay? We need to challenge ourselves to get out of our comfort zone so that we can break up the predictability in our lives. So this is something that I experience in my household. So I'm more of an introvert, I guess you can say. I don't mind going to new places and meeting new people. I don't mind being around people that I don't know. I don't mind doing things by myself. Like, I'm at peace. I'm content. I feel like I'm good socially, to just jump out and talk to people I don't know. But I know that's not the case for everybody. So, for example, my husband, when it comes to group settings or doing things with people that he does not know, homeboy is not here for it. And we had to have a conversation this weekend. There was a hiking trip that I was going on, and he was like, nah, I'm good. You do your thing. And I had to ask, like, why don't you want to go? Like, I don't want to go because. And he was honest and was like, I just don't like being around people that I don't know. And I feel like a lot of us find ourselves in this situation where we avoid connecting with new people that we don't know or stepping out of our comfort zone. But look at what all you're missing on the other side of it. From everything that I just shared as a result of me connecting with these people that I had no clue who they were. I did not know them before connecting with them. But as a result of connecting with them, my life has transformed and changed so much. So sometimes you have to get uncomfortable by stepping out of your comfort zone and connecting with people that you don't know. But this goes back to point one about connecting with like-minded people. If you see that these people have the same mindset that you have or the same end goals that you have, then conversation can flow a little bit easier, right? So for example, with the money challenge, you can start to talk about how you have struggled with your finances over time, which leads them to start talking about how they've struggled with their finances. Okay, now y'all have a connecting point. And then the conversation can start to go off into parenthood and marriage and other things. Like, you just have to be confident and okay with stepping out on that limb to have that first level of conversation and give the relationship time to grow and the conversation time to grow. Don't shy away and be afraid of being judged, of being talked about. And I feel like that's the fear of it. Like, at the end of it, it's just this fear that, oh, somebody is going to judge me, or, oh, they're going to talk about me, this, that, and the third. But again, if you're around somebody that's like-minded, sis, they're not trying to judge you. They're trying to connect with somebody, or they're trying to come up with you too. As in the marriage group that I'm in, some people share some very intimate things, and not one time have I heard somebody share something, and not one time have I shared something and felt like, oh, I'm being judged. Oh, they about to pick on me. Oh, they about to go run and tell my business to everybody. No, you have to step out of your comfort zone and be okay with being vulnerable with other people. So, I just finished reading Woman Evolve by Sarah Jakes Roberts, and she has a chapter on the importance of having supportive community and connecting with other like-minded women. And she stated that we need the challenge of being out of our comfort zone so that we can break up predictability in our lives. We get bored with predictability, but are also uncomfortable with change, right? So how many times have you found yourself in a I'm sick and tired position of your finances being how they are, or your friendship groups not being as fulfilling as you want them to be, but you're not moving out of that predictability and stepping out into, something new in your life. We have to be okay with stepping out. Proverbs 18:1 is a very convicting scripture about that person who feels like, oh, I'm good being by myself. I don't need nobody around to help me. I got it. I'm good. Proverbs 18:1 says that a man who isolates himself seeks his own desires. He rages against all wise judgment. So some points that I got from this scripture is that isolation and avoiding others is a selfish desire. As believers, we are not called to be selfish, but to serve others. And then where it says that he rages against all wise judgment, this sounds like you don't like to be corrected or for people to give you their insight or wisdom about a situation. We have blind spots when we are alone. Collaborating with others reveals things about us that we can't see about ourselves. So one example for this for me is the marriage group. There's someone in the marriage group, and there are certain things that I will hear her say, or certain complaints that I'll hear her say about her husband. And it's like, dang, I've said that before, or I felt that way before, but hearing it come from her lips, it sounds real ugly. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds like, oh, why is she saying that? Or I'm not sure she's aware of how that sounds coming off. But as a result of me being in that group, I'm able to see that blind spot in myself as listening and seeing her as a reflection of myself, which helps me to, change my direction or my response in that specific area as a result of being around her. Satan likes to pursue believers who are vulnerable in their faith, who are spiritually weak, or who are isolated from other believers. Okay, so when you are not around other believers, when you're not in community or some type of partnership, Satan sees you as a red target to come and attack, because he knows that you're in a vulnerable state, and it's easier for him to attack you whenever you're by yourself. This even goes back to the scripture in Ecclesiastes that I read about two people being better than one, because one person can be easily attacked, but with two people, y'all can have each other's back. So, sis, if you're by yourself and afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone and connecting with others in your community, then you're just a sitting duck for the devil to come and attack. In your mind, you start having these negative thoughts in your mindset, which start to spill over and show up in your life. And this is how people find themselves stuck or going into a deep depression, because they aren't around community who can speak life and pour into them and protect them against the enemy's attacks on them. So stop and ask yourself, why don't you want to be around others or collaborate with others if this is something you struggle with? Are you afraid of being hurt? Are you being held back from past relationships that hurt you, so now you avoid with connecting with others altogether? Or is it a fear of judgment? All right. It can be awkward meeting with new people and making adult friendships. This is why it's important to connect with like-minded women so that you have some common grounds to connect on. So as I'm reading here, I see I was ahead of my notes, but we all good. This is just a review. So don't allow the fear of meeting new people or working with others stop you from walking into the next level of your life. Start small by joining an online community where you can be in the comfort of your home, right? And then try to branch out and potentially meet up with these people. Okay? I am rooting for you, sis. If you are that one who is an introvert and just afraid of, stepping out of your comfort zone, you got it, sis. Okay? You got it, and you'll be all right. And my last and final point is to celebrate other women. So instead of feeling intimidated by women who are succeeding in an area that you desire to succeed in, learn to celebrate them, sis, okay? If you do struggle with jealousy or an inability to celebrate other women, work on healing that jealousy and comparison in your heart. Seeing other women's success should be an inspiration and encouragement that you can do it too, right? The goal is to support each other and see everybody win in whatever way that looks like for them, okay? This is something that I had to overcome in my life, and I'm so grateful that God has healed me in this area. There would be times where I would see women who were succeeding in the online space with their podcasts or building their community, and I would immediately have this thought or feel a way like, well, why my community not that big? Well, why aren't people responding to me that way? And God had to check my heart posture like, for one, why are you doing this? Are you doing it for the numbers and the accolades and the response of the other people? Or are you doing it to be obedient to me? So now my level of success is me being obedient to God. I don't care how many people tune in, how many people download, how many people like, share, or whatever. That number is not up to me, right? I find success in me showing up and being obedient to what God called me to do. And in that obedience, I'm able to celebrate my sis who does have 10,000 followers or 10,000 views or shares or all of these people that signed up for her community. I'm like, yes, sis, keep going. I am proud of you. There is something that you're doing that the people are connecting with, and that's so good. And I'm so grateful that people are able to connect with you. Even me sharing, the other women's community groups, the doers community, the society, those are not my communities, right? These are communities from other people, but I see the work that they are doing in their community and how it's helping other women, that, hey, I'm on board to rally and share this out to other people in hopes that they're able to connect with this community and that they're able to grow and fulfill and be a better product in the community and kingdom of God, right? So just a quick review on 3 ways to build a supportive community and connect with other millennial moms is to get around like-minded women. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and celebrate other women. All right. So that is all that I have for you all today. Be sure to follow me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to check out the communities that I mentioned. I'll have those links in the show notes. Subscribe to the Mom Keys to Mental Peace podcast on whatever platform you listen to, as well as YouTube for the video footage. And as always, be sure to rate this episode, share this episode, or leave a review. Remember, that is my birthday wish for this episode. I appreciate all of you for tuning in with me, and I pray that you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.